This is Mike Finnerty of the SureWest Sports Show, and the following clip has been brought to you by the SureWest Sports Show, airing on SureWestSports.com. Well, we welcome back Joe Davidson, the Sacramento Bee, to this week's Sports Chat. Joe, the last time I was talking to you a week ago, we were standing there in the rain talking high school football, but now we're going to be talking state championship football because the Folsom Bulldogs are heading down south to play in the D2 championship game. And what can you say about Chris Richardson and his entire team? I love them. I think they're going to do it. I think they're going to come back with a win, and they're going to do it because they're talented, experienced, and confident.
I totally agree. And yes, the Southern California teams are very formidable. We know that. Terrific teams, programs, a lot of recruits and all that for all the bowl games. But Folsom is a defensive nightmare matchup. How do you deal with Daniel Graves, the spread, Trozine, Babineau, Richards? Somebody has to figure out in a hurry on that defensive staff down south, how are you going to match up with all these guys? And we also know that Folsom will not be intimidated by the moment. If you could survive Grant twice, including winning the rematch in front of 20,000, then you could survive anything. Because there's no way a team down in Southern California has more speed, power, ferocity than Grant. So they passed the test. And Daniel Graves passed the test with his knee. He had 2 long touchdown runs against Grant and had 4 touchdown passes. They're ready. This is their team. This is their time. They've earned it. They will travel well. They'll have a good crowd, and they're a fun product. The games will be on TV. People have enjoy the product there. I think if I'm Folsom, I feel really good about those Bulldog chances.
Well, how many teams can say they've played Grant twice, who was considered the best team in the state, and they did it on national TV? They played on ESPN, so they have that to think about and that experience to lean on. And then, of course, as you mentioned, playing in front of 20,000, those intangibles are going to work in their favor, and that's why I think they have as good a chance as Rockland had last year, although they fell short last year, and then the year before it was Grant who won. I think their chances are heading in are as good as either of those two teams who were heading down to Carson.
Absolutely, and they go in healthy. Daniel's a little dinged up with the knee, but he's okay. We saw that against Grant, as we talked about. They also go down there, Folsom does, with a sense of confidence and swagger. Not cockiness is a big difference. And you have to stop us. That's their mentality. Folsom averages about 52 points a game. You have to stop the spread. It's not going to be a field turf, but that's not a big problem because it's the premier Bermuda grass that they use for MLS soccer down there. It'll be fine. It rained a lot last year, and the field took on all these games. No problem. So that's not going to be a problem. It's interesting. Coach Richardson says, it's the logistics. When do you get the team down there? Do you leave Thursday? Do you leave Friday? They're going to take a big bus and head down on Friday morning. When do you get down there? Where do you feed them? They know they're going to stay in a hotel in Torrance. Okay, are they all on the same floor? Who's going to monitor 60 teenagers? And that's a rabble-rousing group.
Not you or I.
Yeah, thank goodness for that. So Coach Richardson says it's like camp counselors, Mike, where you got every coach is in charge of about 6 or 7 guys, and we want to know where they are, what they're doing, what time they woke up, and this, because you got to keep in track of all these guys. The game is the fun part. It's the logistics and making sure everybody's there and the body counts and everybody gets on the bus, and it's a good problem to have. And there's going to be a team or two next year that are going to have the same problem because this area is not slowing down in football. And it's Folsom's time now. It was Rockland's time last year. It was Grant's time the year before. Look at that depth. It's just one team after another, and it could be all 3 of those teams and others chasing after it next year.
Well, it could very well be Pleasant Grove. I mean, we've talked about this team, junior heavy, Arik Armstead, Mark Jenkins, Cody Demps, these guys who sort of lead this group of Pleasant Grove Eagles team that won the D1 section championship. So it just goes to show you that it's not just one team dominating this year. It's not like it's just Grant going back every year. As good as they are, we're sending different representatives to represent Sacramento, California, and the CIF section here and Sac Joaquin section. So probably heading in, although we have plenty of time to figure that out. It looks like maybe Pleasant Grove could be that team along with Grant and Folsom as maybe the top 3 heading in next year.
Yes, for sure, and Del Oro and Granite Bay and Nevada Union. I was like, look at all those teams, and we're talking divisions 1, 2, 3, loaded. And smaller school programs like Bradshaw Christian made a real run this year, but Granite Bay, Nevada Union, and Pleasant Grove in Division 1 alone is going to be a scramble. And Folsom and Grant will start their season next August against each other. It's the second year of a 2-year contract. Great sportsmanship between the 2 programs. they may extend that. And those teams, yes, they graduate a lot of players, Mike, but they also bring back Shaq Thompson. I think we've talked about him once or twice.
Yeah.
Tanner Trozine will be the new quarterback at Folsom. He's got all the skills to be terrific. Coach Richardson thinks he could throw 40 touchdowns next year because he's that skilled. His brother, Tyler Trozine, who's going to Oregon State next year, said that he's the best leader he's ever been around. And he plays with Dano now, and he's just a natural leader, Tanner is. So they're going to be good next year. One of the great quarterbacks next year could be Thomas Spurbeck at Jesuit, and he'll be a junior. He's the son of Marshall Spurbeck, the Sacramento State coach. So a team that hasn't done very well may get a lot better in Jesuit. So it's, Sheldon and Franklin and all these other teams. Football, Mike, I've been doing this since 1988, and it just gets better every year. We had some good teams 20 years ago, but we didn't have the depth of it, and we didn't have bowl games then. Now we got it all, and the bowl picture may get expanded too with NorCal playoffs.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. It's great for this area. Hey, as we talk about a radio show that we do every Saturday on ESPN 1320 here, the I's are being dotted, the T's are being crossed, but we feel pretty good that we're going to be extending this radio program through the basketball season.
I got the contract right here. I just need you to sign.
Let me take care of that right there. Yeah. So
and basketball's terrific around here.
Oh, we can't wait. I mean, and think about this: teams that we get to see this year in hoops. Sheldon and Sac come to mind right away on the boys' side. We know Franklin's going to be good. On the girls' side, it's Sac High again. It's Del Oro. It's St. Francis. Loads of teams. Yeah. And we get to finish off the season at Arco for states and sections. Good stuff.
It's terrific. And it's not just boys' basketball. The girls' basketball, as you alluded to, has been better than the boys' product over the years. More scholarship players, more championships. Oak Ridge winning the state championship last year. Sac High has one of the all-time area recruits in Josiah Turner. Go watch him. He's terrific. The Sac High girls with Coach Michelle Massari, terrific talent. A lot of freshman impact players. You want to see a great coach in his element? Mike Takayama. Bill Baxter at El Camino. Harvard Tahar over at McClatchy is the best I've ever seen. Probably going to be his last year. And it's everywhere. Kennedy has had some good talents. They got Lynette Johnson, who's a dynamite player. She's going to be a major scholarship player, and she's an underclassman. So the basketball is terrific. And, again, you were right. Section NorCal and State, again, will be at Arco Arena. State was in Bakersfield last year, but it's back. And so we'll have a gauge and a pulse on all those teams. Eric Armstead, national recruit in football, he's just as good in basketball. And so that just shows you the talent we have.
Yeah, we're going to do things like we're going to, I go out to a lot of games. I'm going to tell you who I see are the freshman players making an impact on varsity. We're going to have coaches on our show like we do now. And the Steve White from Oak Ridge, we'll have him on. We'll have Michelle Massari from Sac High and the girls. We'll have them all. We'll have not just the top player, not just the top coaches for top teams. We'll have them all on. Boys side too. We're going to do a fantastic job. But that's when those T's are crossed and I's are dotted and all that. So I'm looking forward to it. Can't wait. And Joe, back to Folsom real quick. I'm going to don't nose tackle right here.
See, that's what I do is I just chuck here and then just go bull rush around you. No, we did that last week in the rain, and we didn't have that on the footage, but I did a chuck right here, and I had to help you back off that was the sportsmanship, getting you back off the ground.
Yeah, I've got some bandages on my arm. Hey, it's nice talking to you again, and I will see you in Carson and Folsom High. Good luck to you. We'll be down there.